For the first time in a long time, I think we might actually have a short video on our hands. One of the things I've been doing recently is looking at power efficiency for the systems that I'm building. I've always wondered exactly how much power they're using and if there's ways to make them just a little bit more efficient. After all, these are old systems that we're working with. So what can you do if you want to build, just as an example, a Windows XP era machine for gaming, and you don't want it to use a whole bunch of power? Well, I think I have the answer. This is a nice little board that I picked up. I got lucky. This was $8. I bought it for parts not working. Turns out it worked just fine. The seller simply had the wrong RAM for the machine. So we know that this works. I've got a little case here that I got from AliExpress. Nothing super fancy, but it's kind of cute. I paid $26 for this case. It did not come with any feet, but I have a whole bin somewhere around here full of rubber feet that we can use. Unfortunately, we are limited not only to flex ATX power supplies, which I have a 500 watt power supply here that I think I got this for $20 a little while back, but we're also limited to single slot graphics cards. I have not quite made my choice on what graphics card we're going to use. Our power supply does have a 6-pin, so we're not super limited on power, it's just size. I don't think we're going to end up using that 6-pin. We're going to use this Fang Zhang 240 gig solid state drive. This is one I think that I had sitting around until I used a 512 gigabyte drive that someone sent in for something else and pulled that out. We also have this super generic PCI Express riser. I don't know if it works. We're going to find out. This was $3. And of course, we're going to try and install Windows XP using this, the IOD ST300. I have not had a lot of success using this device. Honestly, I'm not very happy with it. And we also have this power supply tester to test this mystery Arrow power supply. Well, let's go ahead and get this power supply tested. I think I have a good idea of what card we're going to use. I'd like to try this HD 3650. It's not the greatest graphics card in the world, not terribly performant, but it is more than capable of playing just about every Windows XP era game that there is. Unfortunately, I think this is broken. For some reason, I'm remembering this being broken. We're going to try it anyway. But let's go ahead and get this. That's right, this doesn't have a switch. So let's get this connected to the tester first. Go ahead and get that in there, along with our P4 connector. Now you'd like to do this under load, ideally. But this should at least give us a good idea. We're reading 12.5 on the 12 volt line, 12.3 on the second 12 volt line, 5 volts on the 5 volt line, looks like 3.2 on the 3.3. That is all well within spec. I think we're good. It's not like we're going to use a lot of power on this anyway. So, with that out of the way, oh, by the way, this is like $5 on eBay. They're literally a dime a dozen. With that said, let's go ahead and get this plugged in for a quick test. I do already know that this works. I wanted to test it off camera just to make sure that I even had a video. And we do. So we know that this works. I'm not going to bother getting it plugged in yet. I want to see if this graphics card works. We're going to go ahead and get this plugged in. I just need a small piece of cardboard. This will work. And now I should be able To plug this, I need a DVI adapter. Oh, there's a DVI adapter right here. Perfect. That connected. I do not think it matters which one we plug into. Huh. So we're just going to go ahead and plug into the bottom one. Okay. Oh, dropped my power cord because of course I did. No, I need... Yeah, this will work. Just need to jump the power wherever that is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Power button. We have 2 gigs of RAM. Okay, we're in. This card looks like it at least mostly functions. That's good. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Now, I want to test this riser real quick. I've never used one of these before. Well, that's a lie. I've used a riser before, but I've never used them how they're intended to be used, so... Oh boy, that's not... It's going to be really tough in this case. So, let's see what happens. Where's my power cable? It fell again. There are... Okay. I think we're good to go. Okay. That's everything that I care to test tested. Let's get this sucker built. And to assist in that, I'm going to get you a better view. Yeah, that looks better. Let's get this out of here. And I believe this CPU is an Intel Atom CPU. 2 cores, 2 threads. We will get into the BIOS and double check to make sure I'm remembering that correct. I could be wrong. Looks like I need a screwdriver. It's just a little baby regular case with really hard to unscrew screws. Oh, that's one of those weird screws that's almost triangular, like a spicy Dorito found in a Wankel engine. Yeah, this is a very, very cheap case. Okay. This may interfere with the graphics card installation. Looks like they want you to put the SSD here, but that is literally right on top of the graphics card. So we might have to do something different about that. We will see. First, let's get this installed. Oh, that is not a lot of space. Oh my god. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Nope. That's... It needs to be this way. Maybe? Yes. Okay. I didn't grab any screws. These are the wrong type of screws. I'm just not very well prepared for any of the videos I make, but that is okay. Just need a couple of coarse thread screws for the power supply. They don't have to match, they just have to be screws. One And good enough. This is not a great case to build in so far, and I haven't even put anything in it. But that is, I guess, par for the course for some of these ITX builds. Oh wow, this case is not built very well either. I'll show you what I'm dealing with in just a moment. Okay, these two do not line up. So I'd have to trim some of this plastic off, which I'm not going to do. What I'm actually going to do is just install these two. And I mean, it's not like the power supply is going to go anywhere. So, good enough, I say. Good enough. Maybe I can jam a screw in there, but I really don't think so. Oh, maybe. Yes. Okay. It's technically installed, which is the best kind of installed. Okay. Oh, there is going to be no room in this case. There's a lot of extra cable on this. Okay. Let's get this unpacked and see what they give us. I should have checked in here for the screws. We have our power supply screws in here. Oh, they do include the feet. Okay. That's actually super nice. Now, I don't have an I/O shield for this motherboard. At $8, I could not really expect them to give one. So, I'm gonna have to go all natural on this one. Okay. Get our screws out. I'm gonna guess probably, what an eclectic grouping of screws. I'm going to assume that it's fine thread. Seems correct. Not going to tighten it, just getting it in there. 2. This one's going to be tough to get in. I don't even know how well you can see anything that I'm doing right now, but... And I'm just putting screws in. The 4th one looks like it lines up, so I'm going to tighten up these 3. Grab our last fine thread. Oh, come on. Okay, that is in. HD audio, I don't really care about too much, but we might as well plug it in. That is here. So this motherboard has USB 3, but it does not have a USB 3 header. So this is not going to help us. I can get the power and reset and all that connected at least. Give ourselves a little more wiggle room on this. So let's see. Oh, there is no reset switch, only power. Okay. Power button was here. Can you even... There. Maybe now you can kind of see what I'm doing. On this here. HDD LED, power LED. Okay. This is... I always hate working with these. I know that my hand is in the way, but not a lot I can do about that. Wow, these are really stiff. cannot get these in there. Okay, hard drive LED. I get the feeling no matter how I build in this case, it's gonna suck. So we're just gonna tuck that off to the side there. Okay, you know, I think I might be able to hook this up to USB 2 because I have an adapter somewhere. I will be right back while I find that. That wasn't too hard to find. Let's go ahead and get this plugged in. Yeah, we won't be getting USB 3 on the front panel, but at least we'll have something on the front panel. And we will be able to use the ports, regardless of what speed they're at. I think I want to tuck this under here, though. Yeah. That way we can kind of wrap around that. Now I need to figure out the graphics card, because we do not have a lot of space for this. I don't know about this one. This might not be super doable. So that's in. They want it to be like this. So how do I want to go about this? I've never installed the graphics card using a riser properly before. I've usually just been experimenting and having it hang out the side of the case. So I need this. I wonder how tight we can bend this. Probably not too tight. It's cheap after all. Oh no. Can we even get this in? It hits the front panel. Come on. Really? Okay, we need something smaller. That severely limits what we can do. Shoot. I'm going to cut the camera and try to find something physically smaller that we can install in here. This might be our savior. I think this is a GT730. I wouldn't want to use this long term because I really like this and I need it for a different build, but definitely small. Let's see if I can get this to get it fixed properly. This needs to bend a little bit. That's right there, technically installed. So let's get this screwed in. Oh, if I can even get it screwed in. Okay. That's installed. Now the real question becomes, what about this? I think this was something like that. I mean, it misses. This could go here. Maybe. Let's just test that out. I mean, nothing's been plugged in yet. I'm just kind of testing the waters for what fits where. I think that this SSD is going to impinge on this graphics card. Just barely. Oh man. So well, then what do I do? They really don't expect you to install things inside here, do they? Especially not to use that PCI Express slot. That's not gonna work. Okay, let's take this off. Where could I jam this that it wouldn't put it down here? Well, there just isn't a lot of room in this case. It's not laid out very well. Oh dear. It's really the fault of this. If we had a motherboard that had decent onboard graphics, like one of those coin mine motherboards, the ones that are always dead, that would fix all of our problems. I think we're going to have to take this graphics card out and put that in last. We have a lot of cable managing to do first. Let's get you out. This all presupposes that bending it like that's even feasible. Let's get this motherboard power connected. And this is Sandy Bridge anyway, so the onboard graphics, not too bad for Windows XP era. Honestly. So we could just leave it as that. I don't want to, but we certainly could. Get our CPU power connected here. Tuck that. Oh, that's right, we don't have a I/O shield to help me with this. Oh, this sucks. We won't be using this 6-pin, so let me see if I can possibly just jam it in here. Why did I pick this case? Oh, this case is terrible. It's cute, but it's terrible. Oh boy, get in there. I'm sure that's perfectly safe. Okay, we won't be using any of these Molex connectors, but we do need at least one of these leads for the SSD. So I think the strat is to stuff things along here. And then hope that it doesn't mess with the graphics card. It will. Maybe if I tuck it up here above the RAM. You really don't want your voltage components coming too close to your data components. Not because there's a risk of shock or anything, but I work in networking, and we're always worried about crosstalk and all kinds of stuff. I don't know what to do with this. Squish? Squish. Successful squish. This is a terrible power supply for this case. You really want something modular with really short cables. Let's get this SATA connection plugged in. That way we will have storage. Okay. SSD. Oh, this is a 90 degree. That kind of sucks. We'll make it work. Get this in here as well. This is not super awesome, but all I want is for these wires to not impinge on the CPU fan. Hey, that works. Okay. We might just barely have enough room. Hopefully you saw in there, because I'm not doing that again. Get this riser in here. It almost would have been better if they had just like used a half height bracket instead of giving you the full height support, because full height support makes people think that it will work with full height cards. And this really won't. Okay. Get this. Try to get this installed at least. Now, let's find out if this super sharp bend is going to cause problems. I know that this card works, which is why I didn't bother testing it. Need power. Oh. And in theory, the power button, okay, it's pretty quiet. I've got a screen. Okay, now here's the final question. Is this going to interrupt with that fan? It looks like it might. Oh my god, that is so unbelievably close. It's touching the heatsink there. Okay, we're gonna call it there. I like this case. It's absolutely terrible in all of the right ways. So let's get the feet put on. I love it when ITX computer cases look like standard full ATX ones. And I could put the feet on this side here so we could stand it up properly, but I think we're going to put them on this part to let it rest like an HTPC box. So let's flip this over. And yes, we ignored this. That was not going to work. There are little rubberized feet here on the case. I was convinced that these weren't included. I'm glad they were. Oh, there's a big scratch there. That's okay, that's on the bottom. No one will see it. Except for thousands of people on the internet, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. This and one more. It's a cute little PC case. It's a shame it's so rough to work in. Real compact. But they need to do something about these holes there. Okay. Let me adjust the camera and we will attempt to install Windows XP using our ST300. Let's go ahead and get into the BIOS to try and figure out what this CPU is. I just don't remember. It is a Celeron 8470. I believe that's 2 cores. 2 gigs of RAM, just like I remembered. Okay, so we're going to set this to Windows XP. I think we should be good now. Nope. There we go. Oh, this thing is not super easy to use. Okay. We're set to Windows XP. Boot menu is F8. Virtual CD-ROM. This is the first time I've gotten it to work. Okay. Yeah, unless something weird happens, the next time you'll see me is at the desktop. Well, we ran into an issue. I know that the SSD works because while we were testing it on the bench here without you looking at the screen, it tried to boot into Proxmox, which is what I had on it previously. However, the XP installer doesn't see it. So that could be a big issue. Let's... Oh yeah, there's no reset button on this thing. Huh. I could switch to a CD-ROM. That's probably the way to go. We could try Linux to run some old Windows games. What do I have on this? I got Mint. Try that. I'm gonna need internet, aren't I? One moment. Okay, this isn't really working either. I think the strat's just to go ahead and go with optical. Just for the install, then we can throw this back together. So, unexpected, but not unprecedented. I just don't have a lot of luck with that ST300. Other YouTubers swear by it, but not me. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and pop this side panel open. I hope I'm still in the shot. And one of these ought to be SATA. Yeah, that'll work. I need another SATA cable, which I should have one sitting around here somewhere. I should have a lot sitting around here somewhere. I don't know where they are. They're not within immediate reach. Shoot. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I think I see one. Huh? Yup. Here we go. Okay. SATA cable. We're going to take our SSD. Oh, I'm going to have to remove the graphics card to access the other SATA port, aren't I? Well, maybe not. I think I see it. Okay. That's in. This go like that. And we'll just go ahead and use this on there. There we go. Once XP is installed, we really shouldn't need this again. We're using all GOG stuff anyway. So, where's my XP disk? That's the question. Windows XP Service Pack 3. Oh, there's my Windows 98 disk. Oh my god. I was looking for this. Look, watch my last video if you want to know why I'm so just done because of that. Okay. You want to boot from CD. This is going to be a lot slower than booting from the ST300, but again, I just have too many issues with this thing. Kind of regret buying it, to be honest. This should work fine at this point, as long as it sees the SATA controller, which, I mean, it really should. So, yeah. With any luck, the next time you see me, will actually be on the desktop. Well, I thought this was going to be a quick video. Blue screen. Why are we blue screening? See if I can get back into the BIOS and see if there's any settings that need changed. Could be a bad DVD drive. That's an option. Okay, let's see here. Sure, SATA configuration. AHCI. Windows XP is AHCI compatible. But we're going to switch to IDE anyway. Actually, hold on. Yeah, we're going to switch to IDE just to see if that helps. I don't think it will. Okay, we we got past that. Okay. I don't have anything else plugged in, so we're going to go and just delete all these partitions. Delete. 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 Oh, yes. Okay. Format quick. I think we're in business. Okay. See you on the desktop. This has been one of the best little PCs I've ever had to work on. at least on the software side. I still making my decision on the hardware aspect of this, but yeah, not too bad. Also, I did a little more research on the CPU on this board. It is not a 6-watt CPU, but it is a 17-watt CPU. That's pretty good. Nice and power efficient. We're looking at Sandy Bridge architecture, I believe. It should be done with all of these. Let me go ahead and throw these in the recycle bin. Now, there's one more thing that I need to install. Well, a couple small things that I forgot to grab last time with Dark Orbit. I really love that game. But I believe that we should be able to get Bandicam to record on this PC, even with the low clock speed. Also, I did try to get Icewind Dale to run. That is an amazing game. However, GOG gives out a 64-bit installer, and this is 32-bit Windows. So let's go ahead and get Bandicam installed real quick. And by the way, having USB 3 working on Windows XP, beautiful. My God, this is just the best file transferring experience I've had in a very long time. I mean, things even install fast, although that's not due to USB 3. That's just because we're on a SSD. So let's go ahead and get Bandicam running. Yes, let's use that. That's another benefit of using the GT730 instead of something a little more era appropriate. But we are golden with this machine. So I think that we're going to go ahead and install Dark Orbit and Asteroid Miner. And then, I suppose we'll have a little bit of a montage. honestly, I am super impressed with this little PC. Even at only 1.1 gigahertz, this little CPU absolutely crushed everything we threw at it, even recording. So, with that said, what changes would I make to this system? Well, I'd get a power supply that doesn't have a spaghetti mess coming off of it. I probably wouldn't use this case, even though I really love the look of it. It's just not super well thought out, especially since we couldn't use that bracket to hold the SSD in like it's supposed to be held in. Additionally, I'd probably take the fan out of the power supply. I think it's like a little 40mm one. Yeah. Almost the entire amount of noise that this machine makes is from the power supply fan. Graphics card fan doesn't make any noise, and the CPU fan hardly makes any. But I could probably replace that too. Grab a couple of Noctua 40mm and it'd be good. So, I'm pretty happy with this. In fact, this might just become my personal vintage machine. It's a little bit more performant than some of the actual era-appropriate hardware that I use, which I suppose isn't too unexpected, especially considering it has a GT 730 in there as opposed to a GTX 6600 with my current personal machine. And that's that. Let me know down in the comments below what you would have done differently, or if you have any other ideas on how to do something like this, what hardware you would choose. And thank you very much to my patron members for helping support the channel and allowing me to purchase cases like this. You can find a link to my Patreon down below, where I post all sorts of behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive videos. And if you want to send me some of your old junk to be featured on the channel, or just to use, you can find my P.O. box in the description down below. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed.